So here we go. The miracle recap. Yes, we can review the lessons again. There's a week that seems to have passed, and now we review the next set of lessons. Lessons 24 to 48, today's lesson. There's nothing to fear. How great is that? That's always like, oh, that beautiful lesson. There's nothing to fear. It's so comforting, and so you want to repeat that 1,000 times a day, or every minute, or who knows what. It's like, that's such a comforting lesson. There is nothing to fear. In reality, there's nothing to fear. All right, so today there are other lessons too that we look at. And to start out a little different, I want to take a look at the titles of the lessons that we're looking at. And these I say review in a little video. So I'm going to share that with you and play that. To me, so lovely. Oh, so great to remember these. Wait, I have to do something here. Okay. So it's like the I was just bringing these titles into this video and started to make some music, and then I was like, wow, amazing gift. To receive. Amazing. So great, so grateful to receive these lessons here that we just saw. It's like even the titles. Oh my God, wow, that is so amazing. It's like they speak for themselves. Like these are all whole ideas given to you, coming from out of time to help you remember what is really communicating with you as one, and feeling that, feeling that communication. It's so beautiful. So today we're looking at the idea of communication, and that is actually quite something if you look at it from the perspective of chapter 15. I used a couple of expressions, and but they are so right on the mark, or right to the point. It's like, okay, you want to experience communication. What is the reason that we do these lessons? No, why are we doing these lessons? There's a reason for that. You came to the point where you actually said, there has to be something else. There has to be something else. This cannot be it. Like this world of limitation and terror and disease, disaster and all this. This cannot be it. There has to be something else. And then something happens. Like the heavens opened up in a certain sense. Now here is your Course in Miracles. Here are the lessons. Starting with lesson 1. But with a purpose to restore the communication that was never lost. to restore the communication that was never lost. Now, what have I put in place of that? It doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't really matter. But for the undoing of it all, because these ideas keep coming back, like these old ideas keep coming back into your memory too. And you make them real and you forget about the actual essence that you are. You forget about it. So here's the remembrance again. God is the light in which I see. God is the strength in which I trust. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I forgot. I just forgot for a second. So this is our Course in Miracles. Remembering the communication that was never lost. It's always a remembering. It's a fresh remembrance. It's great. In that sense, it's great to forget so you can remember again. Always momentary, always in the moment that happens, that you get a chance to remember again. Now this is A Course in Miracles. But the essence is restoring the communication of what has never left you, or was always yours. But you got detoured into a construct of fear, a construct of time and space, in which you assume a free will that wants to do something as it wants to do something, instead of the perfect will of God, say, extending love, light, happiness without an opposite. You thought in the beginning, in the origin of this moment of confusion, you could say, you had an idea that there could be something else. That idea was immediately corrected. So it's not that takes a long time or anything. No, it didn't have any influence on eternity whatsoever. It was immediately restored. The only thing that you're experiencing now in this, where you think that you're in time and space, is just an echo of a mistake that is already corrected, an echo of a dream that is over a long time ago. And it is always the past that you see. So that is your perception. The past that you see is your perception. You cannot perceive in presence. In the present moment, there's no such thing as perception or as fear or as anything else. It's no, it is whole in itself. It literally encompasses, it embraces, it is everything. I'm completely surrounded by the love of God. That's lesson 50, but it's that is exactly what it is. The restoration of full communication without opposite. So in fact, in the 50 lessons is all that you need to restore yourself to sanity, or to let yourself be restored to sanity. But in fact, to return back to who you truly are. Yes, there's nothing to fear, because I'm sustained by the love of God. It wasn't what I was thinking. I don't have a separate will from God, of course not. No, my will and God's will are one. Now, you got to be clear with yourself. I think that's what this is about. So the communication, great, yes. And making up another dream, yes, you did. Okay, so now we come to the point that there's an honesty asked of you that is a one-time, it's like the honesty of a lifetime. And it comes with a question. And this is the question that we're going to ask ourselves, in this what I'm going to share with you. There's a question that is whambo, right for you. It's here. Look at this. Now, what do you say? So I'm sharing that with you. Okay. Oh, so Willing to Let Go Forever is the title. Every thought, chapter 15, every thought you would keep hidden shuts communication off. Every thought you would keep hidden shuts communication off, because you would have it so. It is impossible to recognize perfect communication while breaking communication holds value to you. Ask yourself honestly, and here's the question. Would I want to have perfect communication? And am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? So this is our little contemplation, a very fundamental contemplation today. Would I want to have perfect communication? You say, yes, of course. And am I wholly willing to let go everything that interferes with it? Am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? Am I willing to do that? I say, well, let me think about it. Or maybe you feel immediately a big yes. I'm totally willing to do that. See, this is what we're dealing with today. Would I want to have perfect communication? Absolutely, no problem. Am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? Well, if I would know what exactly that means, then I could say yes to it. But, okay, so there's a reserve right there. If the answer is no, like if you say, like, no, that's not what I want. I don't want to experience full communication. Then the Holy Spirit's readiness to give it to you is not enough to make it yours, for you are not ready to share it with Him. And it cannot come into a mind that has decided to oppose it. For the holy instant is given and received with equal willingness, being the acceptance of the single will that governs all thought. Yes. Okay, so we continue with that later. So I go back to this one. Would I want to have perfect communication, and am I wholly willing to let everything that interferes with it go forever? Now, why is that question being asked? You could ask. Like, okay, there's a question, but why is it being asked? Why do I need to answer this question? Why now? See, that would be an ego response to it. Why would I have to answer this? Like, why now? Well, I'll answer it later. Yes, you do. That's right. Or you answer it all the time. Every moment you answer the question, are you willing to accept, do you want full communication? Or are you actually considering not to accept that because you're not willing to let go of everything that interferes forever? Like you're not sure what that's going to mean. So in other words, you hold on to something and get the immediate result of that. So unless, here it says somewhere else in the course, unless you experience a total, passionate, deep sense of happiness, that is ecstatic, you could say. So incredibly happy for everything that has come to you, that is given you in every instant. Unless you experience that, you have hidden something. You have, say, answered this question that was just asked with, no, wait a minute. Let me check out some things first, or whatever your reason is. So this, in fact, this question is answered every moment. You get the result of that in your experience of yourself. That doesn't stop. That goes on and on and on and on, and which is perfectly all right. That also means, like, when I am ready, it will be there for me immediately. But when I'm not completely ready, Spirit cannot give me what I'm actually also want to receive. I want both. Basically, I want both. I want direct communication with God, and I want all the stuff that might be interfering with it, but still I want it. I want it all at the same time. Now this doesn't work. So I choose the world, or the things that are interfering with communication. For instance, thinking that I'm separate, or thinking that I have a reason to lack something, or to, entertain myself with disease, disaster, or death, or like this. So it's like, if I do that, if I choose for my limitation, you could say, I'm completely absorbed in that world. The two worlds literally don't meet, they don't overlap. So it's either I'm in a full experience of my, recognition of the truth of who I am, or I'm in hell, or I'm in limitation. I'm in my human experience of myself. Spirit seems to be far away. Like I cannot hear the voice of God. Many people say that. I cannot hear this still small voice. I cannot hear the voice for God. I don't know. I don't know if the Holy Spirit is speaking to me. It's like, well, are you willing to let go of anything that interferes forever? Like, are you willing to let go of that forever? Do you want to get rid of that in order to to let your communication, be restored? And this is the tension field where you find yourself in the middle of. Okay, so we continue with some more expressions, because there will be some really comforting expressions here that can help you too. Because the thing that comes up is, in fact, what is asked of me. Now here it is. The necessary condition for the holy instant does not require that you have no thoughts that are not pure. So that's a relief. It's like, oh God, yeah. Well, the things I was thinking just a moment ago and were not pure thoughts. Is that a problem? Is the question then. Like, no, the necessary condition for the holy instant does not require that you have no thoughts that are not pure. But it does require that you have none that you would keep. And you're willing to let them go. Innocence is not of your making. It is given you the instant you would have it. But it would not be atonement. But it would not be atonement if there were no need for atonement. In other words, in this undoing there's something going on. Innocence is not of my making. Innocence is given me the instant I would have it. So the innocence is my true nature. I was created innocent. The necessary condition for the holy instant does not require that you have no thoughts that are not pure, but it does require that you have none that you would keep. So innocence is not of your making. See, all these things are in fact always coming down to the same place. It's like innocence is not of your making. It's like you cannot make yourself. You don't have to make yourself. So also the thoughts that you're thinking don't really matter. They really don't matter. Well, they do matter to you if you value them, but in reality they don't matter. Whether they are pure or not, it doesn't matter. Whether they are positive or negative, it doesn't matter. Like in the end, it does not matter. It is only, are you willing to give them up? Are you willing to let them go? That's the only requirement. It doesn't matter what kind of thoughts you have. It really doesn't matter. But are you willing to let them go? So that innocence can be restored to you in your experience of yourself, returning back into the purity of your being. So the only thing that's in the way is your tendency to hold on to these thoughts that you have, valuing them, engaging with them, entertaining them, repeating them, doing all the things that you do with them to keep them alive, to keep them afloat, instead of releasing them. And that's the only difference. So the outcome of that is totally different. I let go of my thoughts. Now heaven can be restored in my experience. My love for God can come to me. Spirit is guiding me and speaking to me. Here's my wholeness of my being, the innocence that I am. Only by my willingness to let go of the junk that has been occupying my mind, of all that is occupying my mind, and I keep myself busy with it as if it is something, as if it is something that determines what I am, and that's not the case. So are you willing to let go of that forever? Like, you don't want to pick it up either anymore. You want to stay in communication, because communication is what reality is what God is. You will not be able to accept perfect communication as long as you would hide it from yourself. For what you would hide is hidden. In your practice then, try only to be vigilant against deception. In your practice, like you do the lessons, in your practice then, try only to be vigilant against deception. Like, don't fool yourself. Be honest with what you are thinking, no matter what you are thinking. And don't think that you can hide anything. Like, why would you hide something from yourself? That is fooling yourself, nothing else. So here, try only to be vigilant against deception and seek not to protect the thoughts that you would keep unto yourself. Now this, you can say that's just a sentence. It's like, no, this is our practice. In your practice then, try only to be vigilant against deception and seek not to protect the thoughts that you would keep unto yourself. And it takes as long, you could say. So the restoration of communication, of communication, takes as long as you are holding on and try to hide, not wanting to share what is occupying your mind. And this is really where the healing takes place. Like, you hold on to certain things. Otherwise, you would be in full-blown communication, in a quasar of light disappearing into the universe. And no, you choose to hold on to certain ideas because you think they are valuable. And for one thing, they're yours and you don't want to give them up. So that's completely in the way of communication. Communication needs to be whole to be real. The communication needs to be open, to be shared. Because if it isn't shared, it isn't anything. The same with your thoughts. Like, you can have thoughts and separate yourself and keep some of these thoughts for yourself. Some of these ideas you keep for yourself. It's impossible to have a full-blown experience of your innocence, because you have this little thing that you still want to keep hanging on to. So there's still guilt connected to it. There's a separation idea. I keep this to myself. Nobody is allowed to hear anything about it. So this is really like a real important healing part in the whole story. It literally prevents you from having this experience. It prevents you from being in communication with Spirit. Spirit cannot give you anything if you hold on to your ideas. So that's why there's so much emphasis in the first 50 lessons of A Course in Miracles and let go, let go, let go, let go. Let go. You're only seeing the past. No, there's meaningless ideas. No, they don't have any value. No, there's nobody thinking anything about you. Everyone that you meet is your best friend. You just build up some ideas. And you want to keep those ideas because you think it establishes your world. And you think this world is real. And it is not so. Are you willing to let go of this forever? Just like that. Because are you recognizing that it hurts you, that it exhausts you, that it doesn't bring you anything, and that it makes you, let you come into an experience of total separation instead of communication? Okay, so that's, I thought it was a great part in chapter 15 where this was so exactly right. It's like the holy instant is in fact what this is about. The birth of the holy instant in you is happening, can only happen when you give this up. Now this is what you want to experience. This is really what the miracle is. Now, so the willingness to let go of that forever is the request that is made to you today. Okay, so now we're going to read the review, and the review from lesson 8 to 48. So it's like 40 lessons. Next week we do the 50 lessons, but now we do 40 lessons, starting with lesson 8. I'm going to bring that up. And you can participate in it by reading with me. Okay, so lesson 8. So we saw that you only see the past. Now we continue. So feel free to join in. Just unmute your microphone and start reading. So I'll start with the first one, lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see only my own thoughts, and my mind is preoccupied with the past. What then can I see as it is? Let me remember that I look on the past to prevent the present from dawning on my mind. Let me understand that I'm trying to use time against God. Let me learn to give the past away, realizing that in so doing I'm giving up nothing.
I see nothing as it is now. It can truly be said that I see nothing. I can see only what is now. The choice is not whether to see the past or the present. The choice is merely whether to see or not. What I have chosen to see has cost me vision. Now I would choose again that I may see.
Mais mes pensées ne signifient rien. Je n'ai pas de pensée privée. Or, ce n'est que les pensées privées dont je suis conscient. Que peuvent signifier ces pensées? Elles n'existent pas, ainsi elles ne signifient rien. Or, mon esprit fait partie de la création et partie de son créateur. Ne préférerais-je pas me joindre à la pensée de l'univers plutôt que d'obscurcir tout ce qui m'appartient réellement avec mes pitoyables et insignifiantes pensées privées?
My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Since the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything, the world that pictures them can have no meaning. What is producing this world is insane, and so it is what it produces. Reality is not insane, and I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide for seeing.
Je suis contrarié parce que je vois un monde insignifiant. Les pensées insanes sont contrariantes. Elles produisent un monde dans lequel il n'y a d'ordre nulle part. Seul le chaos gouverne un monde qui représente une pensée chaotique, et le chaos n'a pas de loi. Je ne peux pas vivre en paix dans un tel monde. Je suis reconnaissant de ce que ce monde n'est pas réel. et que je n'ai pas besoin de le voir du tout, à moins que je ne choisisse de lui accorder de la valeur. Et je ne choisis pas d'accorder de la valeur à ce qui est totalement insane et n'a pas de signification.
A meaningless,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. A meaningless world engenders fear. The totally insane engenders fear because it is completely undependable and offers no grounds for trust. Nothing in madness is dependable. It holds out no safety and no hope. But such a world is not real. I have given it the illusion of reality and have suffered from my belief in it. Now I choose to withdraw this belief and place my trust in reality. In choosing this, I will escape all the effects of the world of fear because I am acknowledging that it does not exist.
God did not create a meaningless world. How can a meaningless world exist if God did not create it? He is the source of all meaning, and everything that is real is in his mind. It is in my mind too, because he created it with me. Why should I continue to suffer from the effects of my own insane thoughts when the perfection of creation is my home? Let me remember the power of my decision and recognize where I really abide.
My thoughts are images that I have made. Whatever I see reflects my thoughts. It is my thoughts that tell me where I am and what I am. The fact that I see a world in which there is suffering and loss and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and I am allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficial light on what I see. Yet God's way is sure. The images I have made cannot prevail against him, because it is not my will that they do so. My will is his, and I will place no other gods before him.
Je n'ai pas de pensée neutre. Des pensées neutres sont impossibles parce que toutes les pensées ont un pouvoir. Soit qu'elles font un monde faux, soit qu'elles nous conduisent au monde réel. Mais les pensées ne peuvent pas être sans effet. De même que le monde que je vois surgit de mes erreurs de pensée. De même, le monde réel surgit à ma vue lorsque je laisserai mes erreurs être corrigées. Mes pensées ne peuvent pas être ni vraies ni fausses. Elles doivent être l'un ou l'autre. Ce que je vois me montre lesquelles elles sont.
I see no neutral things. What I see witnesses to what I think. If I did not think, I would not exist, because life is thought. Let me look on the world I see as the representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change, and so I also know that the world I see can change as well.
I am not alone in experience the effects of my seeing. If I have no private thoughts, I cannot see a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thought of others, so my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world my real thoughts show me will dawn on their sight as well as mine.
I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am alone in nothing. Everything I think or say or do teaches all the universe. A son of God cannot think or speak or act in vain. He cannot be alone in anything. It is therefore my power to change every mind along with mine, for mine is the power of God.
I am determined to see. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to see. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will and the will of God are one.
Je suis déterminé à voir les choses différemment. Ce que je vois maintenant ne sont que des signes de maladie, de désastre et de mort. Ce ne peut pas être ce que Dieu a créé pour son Fils bien-aimé. Le fait même que je vois de telles choses est la preuve que je ne comprends pas Dieu. Par conséquent, je ne comprends pas non plus son Fils. Ce que je vois me dit que je ne sais pas qui je suis. Je suis déterminé à voir les témoins de la vérité en moi plutôt que ceux qui me montrent une illusion de moi-même.
What I see is a form of vengeance. The world I see is hardly the representation of loving thoughts. It is a picture of attack on everything, by everything. It is anything but a reflection of the love of God and the love of His Son. It is my own attack thoughts that give rise to this picture. My loving thoughts will save me from this perception of the world and give me the peace God intended me to have.
Je peux échapper de ce monde en abandonnant les pensées d'attaque. En cela réside le salut et nulle part ailleurs. Sans pensée d'attaque, je ne pourrais pas voir un monde d'attaque. Lorsque le pardon permet à l'amour de revenir à ma conscience, je vois un monde de paix, de sécurité et de joie. Et c'est cela que je choisis de voir à la place de ce que je regarde maintenant.
I do not perceive my own best interests. How could I recognize my own best interests when I do not know who I am? What I think are my best interests would merely bind me closer to the world of illusions. I am willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my own best interests are, recognizing that I cannot perceive them by myself.
I do not know what anything is for. To me, the purpose of everything is to prove that my illusions about myself are real. It is for this purpose that I attempt to use everyone and everything. It is for this that I believe the world is for. Therefore, I do not recognize its real purpose. The purpose I have given the world has led to a frightening picture of it. Let me open my mind to the world's real purpose by withdrawing the one I have given it and learning the truth about it.
My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. How can I know who I am when I see myself as under constant attack? Pain, illness, loss, age, and death seem to threaten me. All my hopes and wishes and plans appear to be at the mercy of a world I cannot control. Yet perfect security and complete fulfillment are my inheritance. I have tried to give my inheritance away in exchange for the world I see, but God has kept my inheritance safe for me. My own real thoughts will teach me what it is.
Par-dessus tout, je veux voir. Reconnaissant que ce que je vois reflète ce que je pense être, je me rends compte que la vision est mon plus grand besoin. Le monde que je vois atteste la nature effrayante de l'image de moi que j'ai faite. Si je veux me souvenir de qui je suis, il est essentiel que je lâche prise de cette image de moi. Lorsqu'elle sera remplacée par la vérité, la vision me sera sûrement donnée. Et avec cette vision, je regarderai le monde et moi-même avec charité et amour.
Above all else, I want to see differently. The world I see holds my fearful self-image in place and guarantees its continuance. While I see the world as I see it now, truth cannot enter my awareness. I would let the door behind this world be opened for me, that I may look past it to the world that reflects the love of God.
God is in everything I see. Behind every image I have made, the truth remains unchanged. Behind every veil I have drawn across the face of love, its light remains undimmed. Beyond all my insane wishes is my will, united with the will of my Father. God is still everywhere and in everything forever, and we who are part of Him will yet look past all appearances and recognize the truth beyond them all.
Dieu est dans tout ce que je vois parce que Dieu est dans mon esprit. Dans mon propre esprit, derrière toutes mes insanes pensées de séparation et d'attaque, et la connaissance que tout est un à jamais. Je n'ai pas perdu la connaissance de qui je suis parce que je l'ai oubliée. Elle a été gardée pour moi dans l'Esprit de Dieu, qui n'a pas quitté ses pensées. Et moi, je suis parmi elles. Je ne fais qu'un avec elle et un avec lui.
I am not the victim of the world I see. How can I be the victim of a world that can be completely undone if I so choose? My chains are loosened. I can drop them off merely by desiring to do so. The prison door is open. I can leave simply by walking out. Nothing holds me in this world. Only my wish to stay keeps me a prisoner. I would give up my insane wishes and walk into the sunlight at last.
I have invented the world I see. I made up the prison in which I see myself. All I need do is recognize this and I'm free. I have deluded myself into believing it is possible to imprison the Son of God. I was bitterly mistaken in this belief, which I no longer want. The Son of God must be forever free. He is as God created him, and not what I would make of him. He is where God would have him be, and not where I thought to hold him prisoner.
There is another way of looking at the world. Since the purpose of the world is not the one I ascribe to it, there must be another way of looking at it. I see everything upside down, and my thoughts are the opposite of truth. I see the world as a prison for God's Son. It must be then that the world is really a place where he can be set free. I would look upon the world as it is and see it as a place where the Son of God finds his freedom.
Je pourrais voir la paix au lieu de cela. Quand je vois le monde comme un lieu de liberté, je me rends compte qu'il reflète les lois de Dieu plutôt que les rêves que j'ai inventés pour qu'il y obéisse. Je comprendrai que c'est la paix et non la guerre qui y demeure. Et je percevrai que la paix demeure aussi dans les cœurs de tous ceux qui partagent ce lien avec moi.
My mind is a part of God's. I am very holy. As I share the peace of the world with my brothers, I begin to understand that this peace comes from deep within myself. The world I look upon has taken on the light of my forgiveness and shines forgiveness back at me. In this light, I begin to see what my illusions about myself kept hidden. I begin to understand the holiness of all living things, including myself, and their oneness with me.
My holiness envelops everything I see. From my holiness does the perception of the real world come. Having forgiven, I no longer see myself as guilty. I can accept the innocence that is the truth about me. Seen through understanding eyes, the holiness of the world is all I see, for I can picture only the thoughts I hold about myself.
Ma sainteté bénit le monde. La perception de ma sainteté ne bénit pas que moi seul. Tous ceux et tout ce que je vois dans sa lumière partagent la joie qu'elle m'apporte. Il n'y a rien qui soit à part de cette joie, parce qu'il n'y a rien qui ne partage ma sainteté. Comme je reconnais ma sainteté, ainsi la sainteté du monde se met à briller pour que chacun la voie.
There is nothing my holiness cannot do. My holiness is unlimited in its power to heal, because it is unlimited in its power to save. What is there to be saved from except illusions? And what are all illusions except false ideas about myself? My holiness undoes them all by asserting the truth about me. In the presence of my holiness, which I share with God Himself, all idols vanish.
My holiness is my salvation. Since my holiness saves me from all guilt, recognizing my holiness is recognizing my salvation. It is also recognizing the salvation of the world. Once I have accepted my holiness, nothing can make me afraid. And because I am unafraid, everyone must share in my understanding, which is the gift of God to me and to the world.
Je suis béni en tant que fils de Dieu. En cela, je revendique tout ce qui est bon et rien que le bon. Je suis béni en tant que fils de Dieu. Toutes les bonnes choses m'appartiennent parce que Dieu me les a destinées. Je ne peux subir ni perte, ni privation, ni douleur à cause de qui je suis. Mon Père me soutient, me protège et me dirige en toutes choses. Sa sollicitude pour moi est infinie et est avec moi à jamais. Je suis éternellement béni comme son Fils.
God goes with me wherever I go. How can I be alone when God always goes with me? How can I be doubtful and unsure of myself when perfect certainty abides in Him? How can I be disturbed by anything when He rests in me in absolute peace? How can I suffer when love and joy surround me through Him? Let me not cherish illusions about myself. I am perfect because God goes with me wherever I go.
God is my strength and vision is His gift. Let me not look to my own eyes to see today. Let me be willing to exchange my pitiful illusion of seeing for the vision that is given by God. Christ's vision is His gift, and He has given it to me. Let me call upon this gift today, so that this day may help me to understand eternity.
God is my source. I cannot see apart from Him. I can see what God wants me to see. I cannot see anything else. Beyond his will lie only illusions. It is these I choose when I think I can see apart from him. It is these I choose when I try to see through the body's eyes. Yet the vision of Christ has been given me to replace them. It is through this vision that I choose to see.
Dieu est la lumière dans laquelle je vois. Je ne peux pas voir dans les ténèbres. Dieu est la seule lumière. Par conséquent, si j'ai à voir, ce doit être par lui. J'ai essayé de définir ce que c'est de voir, et je me suis trompé. Maintenant, il m'est donné de comprendre que Dieu est la lumière dans laquelle je vois. J'accueille la vision et le monde heureux qu'elle me montrera.
God is the mind with which I think. I have no thoughts I do not share with God. I have no thoughts apart from him because I have no mind apart from his. As part of his mind, my thoughts are his and his thoughts are mine.
God is the love in which I forgive. God does not forgive because he has never condemned. The blameless cannot blame, and those who have accepted their innocence see nothing to forgive. Yet forgiveness is the means by which I will recognize my innocence. It is the reflection of God's love on earth. It will bring me near enough to heaven that the love of God can reach down to me and raise me up to him.
Dieu est la force à laquelle je me fie. Ce n'est pas par ma propre force que je pardonne. C'est par la force de Dieu en moi dont je me souviens en pardonnant. Quand je commence à voir, je reconnais son reflet sur terre. Je pardonne à toute chose parce que je sens sa force remuer en moi. Et je commence à me souvenir de l'amour que j'ai choisi d'oublier, mais qui ne m'a pas oublié.
There is nothing to fear. How safe the world will look to me when I can see it. It will not look anything like what I imagine I see now. Everyone and everything I see will lean towards me to bless me. I will recognize in everyone my dearest friend. What could there be to fear in a world that I have forgiven and that has forgiven me?
All right, thank you so much for joining in this. That's really great. So I'm going to play some music, but this was, say, the part that I love to do before we go to the grand finale of the first 50 lessons, you could say. And then we will take a look at all of these lessons that have passed, but that will be next time. So then we start also to come into the review lessons, which we already are reading. So that's going to be interesting because there will be a theme coming up to take a look at. Just like today, there was the questions like, are you willing? Are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up any thought that interferes with communication? And this is your answer. That's why you're here. This is your answer. Yeah, so there's a willingness to do that. Now you can trust that. That's heard. You know, that is accepted. Now spirit can come to you to communicate, to restore communication, the communication that was never lost. But you, so in yourself, find the place where that actually is occurring. And it isn't occurring in the world. It isn't occurring where you thought it would be. No, it's happening in a different place. So this adjustment of place is what this is. This is the adjustment of that. So thank you so much for participating in this, and I hope to see you next week in the Miracle Recap. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, and bye for now.